I know. I fucking know, bro. Yo, all right, we're live. What is up, y'all? We're back with another episode of Freaks and Peaks. Until we rebrand the podcast, this is what it is, and it is a great thing with the homies. We got Despair, we got Pulse in the building, we got Follow Your Dreams, and we got Rome himself from left to right, and yours truly, Super Freak. So we got some things to talk about, and then we got AEW Fight Forever, so we'll probably do that. I don't know if I'll stream that. I guess we can stream that, but we'll see what it is. But as far as things go, we got a few things on the docket, and Despair is super busy playing Final Fantasy 16. And speaking of Final Fantasy 16, oh shit, the discourse surrounding that game is a bit on the weird side, no?
Yeah.
So I'm not as far as
for everyone, I guess. For everyone on the outside looking in, I guess it is, but it's nothing new, to be honest.
I haven't played as far as Despair. I'm probably like 8-9 hours in, but I mean, to me, it just it feels like a Final Fantasy game. Like I don't really get it because, like, you know, I guess this happens every Final Fantasy game. Is the next one's just not FF, but it feels like a Final Fantasy game.
But the fuck, like. I don't get it.
I feel like
I'm
I should
gonna get it because I've been playing this series my whole life, so it's like every time a new game comes out, it's like, oh shit, it's a new Final Fantasy game, time to play it, and either like it or not.
See, I think people forget that like every game is like supposed to be different from the last one, like.
Yeah, like that's let me preface everything, right?
Let's
summarize what's going on, the discourse with it, right? So apparently the game release, right? Super successful, right? Like
discourse. It's like that's like giving it too much credit.
That is it's like a bizarre fan movement, right? Not even fans, right?
Occurrence?
Yeah. It's just a bizarre hate movement. Well, anyway, the game released, and the game it's been very successful thus far. I believe
3 million so far.
It's the top 5 Sony exclusive for PS5, I think, right?
Yeah, and it's only on one platform.
Yeah, and it's only on PS5. Well, top 5 Sony exclusive for PS4, PS5 generation. Well, probably, I don't know, even beyond that, right?
Weird, which is kind of wild, because what was the only other exclusive that only launched on PS5?
None of them. All of them also released on PS4. But
Returnal?
Yeah, that's true, Returnal. Ratchet. But anyway, like, so there's been a lot of quote unquote fans, not fans, because if they were fans, they would understand, and we'll get into that, but saying that it doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy game, right? Or they say that the story's mid, or they're saying certain things about the RPG element, or, you know, they're cherry picking things that they want to complain about it, and also it's getting review bombed like hell. Yeah, it was getting review bombed on Metacritic.
I don't keep up with any of this bullshit, man.
Mostly user reviews. User scores dropped from like 80s to like high 80s to like low 70s. There's people just like review bombing the shit out of the game because I don't know, they got nothing fucking better to do in their lives. Sorry, but like I feel like it's just a lot of haters out there, man.
Let me see something real quick. I need to.
I think it's weird because people complain that turn-based is boring, and then they stop doing turn-based and give people what they want, and then people are still upset.
People have been upset about the change of turn-based since 12.
It's not even turn-based. It's not even about it being turn-based. Of course, you're gonna have those people that are always gonna fucking say that shit. It doesn't matter if it's the best game ever made. They're always gonna complain about it not being turn-based.
Yeah.
It's more so like, because you got to think about it, right? FF7, FF8, FF9, FF10, 13 were turn-based games. People said the same shit about those. FF7 is not a real Final Fantasy game. FF8 is not a real Final Fantasy game. Blah, blah, blah. It's been the same shit every fucking game. So it's like calling it discourse at this point. It's like we're giving it more credit.
Giving
it
too much credit.
Not even I agree. Like, it's just people feeling, I guess, like their opinions matter in the grand scheme when they don't.
Yeah,
like it's a Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy has been the same series since fucking 1989 or whatever the fuck. Like,
it's the norm now, right?
Ever since what?
I think you're right. Ever since
wait a minute, not even. Ever since like fucking 3. like they've tried different fucking things in every fucking game, and then people complain about it and say the previous game was this or the previous like, oh man, FF. Like I don't know. The thing that I find funny is the one thing that I noticed, because I have FF16 muted on like every social media I'm on because I don't care and I don't want any spoilers. I don't want to hear anybody talking about it.
Yeah.
But the thing that I did see is it's a lot of people that literally started playing FF with like FF15 and like 13 and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck do y'all even know about? How do you say this is not a quote unquote real Final Fantasy game and you didn't even play anything before like 12? Bruh, come on. This
That would
series
be
been
like
around for
me
like 30
saying
something
this
years.
is not a real Final Fantasy
Like,
game. And even
this
I
game
wouldn't
been out
say
for,
that because I know better.
The series has been around for 30 something fucking years, bro. Like, and if you started playing the series with 13 or 15, sorry, but your opinion doesn't mean shit. Like, I'm sorry. Like, your opinion on the series as a whole means nothing.
That's
like,
that's spot on, because like you can't play one subsection of the Final Fantasy series and then be like, well, this isn't FF. It's like most of us, like the real fans, like have probably at least tried every Final Fantasy.
The majority, like, it's funny because I remember it's the same shit happens all the fucking time. It's like it's the same conversation where we talk about how the FF7 like heads are like literally like the fucking cancer of like the Final Fantasy fandom.
But I wouldn't even say it's FF7 heads at this point. I think it's just because now it's potentially like 15 heads too, right?
The
Like
majority of the FF7 heads I'm gonna tell you what the FF7 heads played. Final Fantasy 7, they played Final Fantasy 7 and every game related to that, right? They played FF10 and they played 13. And now they're playing this game. I'm telling you, those are the only games that any
Really?
I mean,
even I played 8. I played 8.
That
9.
doesn't count. 8 does not count. Like 8 is literally like 8. I'm sorry, 8 doesn't
What
count.
don't FF7 heads hate 8 too though?
FF7 heads hate 8.
I don't hate
8. FF7 and FF8 are the same game. Like
I don't like
FF7
FF8, but I only don't like it because of the junction system. That's the
but
only
that's different. That's having a legitimate opinion on the game that you actually played is different than having an opinion on a game that you have no idea about.
Bro, you like 8, right?
I played all the Final Fantasy, so like I feel you.
I don't hate 8.
Yeah, Rome likes 8 if I remember.
It's not really about whether it's good or bad.
But it's also a nostalgia thing. I didn't have 7. I went right to 8 as a kid.
Hey, honestly,
it's interesting.
7 was probably good for you because like then you don't get jaded into thinking that it's the only really good Final Fantasy.
7 heads, right? 7 heads only think
like,
7
I get
is the
it.
only thing that exists.
If that's your favorite game, that's great. Like I understand that because it's probably the first game most people played. Like that's fine. So you have that like, you know, it's just nostalgic for people. So they say
7
that's the best.
7 was a lot of people's first RPG game. Period.
7 was my first Final Fantasy, and I love that game to death.
Yeah, I love the game, and I respect the hell out of it because if it wasn't for that game, we wouldn't have any of this shit.
To me, FF9 is the GOAT. Like that game was front to back amazing. That's just me though. Like everyone has various opinions, but I think if you play 7, you need to actually go play the other games because you can't just play 7 and be like, yeah, I love Final Fantasy, because every game is so different. Like I honestly think the medieval games are like some of the best games. Like the futuristic cyberpunk stuff is cool, but like, what about FF6?
Yeah,
and 5?
that's exactly why when 7 came out, everyone was like, "This isn't real." Even when 6 dropped, everybody was, "This isn't real Final Fantasy." What all these fucking robots and fucking Magitech armor and all this bullshit? I don't care about any of this stupid shit. I'm like, all right, guys. Like,
Magitech has been
the first
series for a while, right?
That was the first
was, but
steampunk era.
not like it was in 6. Like Magitech and all that shit and all the what is it? The steampunk shit was just, it really started with 6 and then they went full in with 7.
It's also like an
7 and 8
interpretation of each game though, right? Like
there's the thing is, right? Every single numbered game is supposed to be a different game, a different experience, different shit, right? None of these games are connected unless you talk about like the sequels, which we don't. Like none of these games are connected. So it's like
they're only connected by bullet points, right? There's like certain bullet points where each game kind of they don't have to hit, but they kind of hit. Yeah, series staples
that they put in every game.
Yeah,
and
there's
it's so that you can recognize it as a Final Fantasy game, like
chocobos.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm fighting right now. So it's like, bruh, this isn't a real Final Fantasy game, motherfucker. Like,
bro,
you
it
know
has
how
chocobos.
you know what anytime I see a goddamn bomb, that's how I know it's a real Final Fantasy game because I hate these motherfuckers.
Yep.
Like,
There's chocobos.
Anytime I see a Moogle,
there's
I feel
Sid.
right at home.
exactly.
There's a Sid.
Now the
there's
Tom berries are the ones
the
I
Tom
fear.
berries.
I don't want to talk about
There's-
that shit.
No,
I don't even wanna
sir.
talk
I
about
do
that
not
shit.
want to see those guys. Fuck
Icons.
them.
There's
I'm
fucking
Look.
airships. There's, you know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah,
certain things that the
has
game
the
just
staples.
hits.
It's like
you know?
I don't want to. Oh, I hate calling the Discord. The whole conversation
Yeah,
is
just
about
say just the whole thing. Yeah.
the game is an action game. It's literally an action RPG. Like, there's no sugarcoating
It
it.
is.
There's no like. It's literally just FF Devil May Cry. Like you
But-
got the FF story, the fucking typical FF tropes, the monsters, the fucking all that shit, the music, obviously, all that shit, and then you got just Devil May Cry, everything else. Like it's literally what it is.
Correct me
Like-
if I'm wrong though. Final Fantasy has moved away from turn-based elements since 12, right?
But here's my problem.
13 was turn.
Since 12, yes. Every game 12 and on has not been turn-based. Technically, it started with 10 too, but whatever.
Yeah.
I
I think you're right actually.
But the thing is, just because the battle system changes doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't understand why people don't realize that this is like their poster. Final Fantasy is like their baby, right? This
Yeah.
is the game that they want to be. This series has been around for 30 something fucking years. How do you think the series is still has maintained its popularity? Not because it's the same shit every single time a game
By
comes out.
evolving.
No, because they
every time.
evolve.
Yeah, it's different.
Like, so anybody that like, I feel like people don't understand what it takes to be relevant. Like, you just want every game to be the same, and then when that series dies, you complain. Like, oh, what
Mhm,
happened to this? What happened to that? And if you look at it from, I guess on a larger scale, right? We have FF. Like, if you're just a fan of RPGs in general, we have Final Fantasy now. We have Dragon Quest, which, if you care about turn-based that much, that's what the series is. That's what Dragon Quest is. You want these
Yeah.
traditional turn-based RPGs, you got Dragon Quest. Like, they got fucking Star Ocean. They got all these fucking games that are for different. If you like these different aspects of RPGs, then they have games for you.
Yeah.
Like,
the,
people want to
the
just claim
turn-based
Final Fantasy
hasn't
as
died.
like their people want to claim like Final Fantasy, like, because I hate bringing this up, but it's how I get when people talk about FF14. Like, I get kind of defensive because people use FF14 as like this thing, like that they hover above people's heads. Like, yeah, man, I played this game, so do you play this game? It's the cool thing to do. Like, FF14 is like the cool thing to do now, right? So
Yeah, it's a
they'll
trend.
dangle that shit like above your head, like, yeah, man, I play this game. You play that game? So they want to act like they know like what Final Fantasy is. What they want to know, like they know more than you. Like, yeah, man, you play that shit. You 16? Man, it's not a real Final Fantasy game. Why don't you go back and play a real game?
Yeah,
or
I
something?
feel like you could have played 11 or
like-
14 and still not be a Final Fantasy
11
fan,
and
but just
14,
an
if you
MMO
want to talk
fan,
about
right?
real Final Fantasy fucking games, quote unquote. If we're gonna use the explanation people gave for what a real Final Fantasy game is, 11 and 14 are more Final Fantasy than most of these recent games.
Facts.
Well, they're
so-
MMORPGs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't
they're-
matter though. The genre of RPG does not matter. Like,
No, yeah.
it tackles it.
It's just
hits
different
on what Final
gameplay
Fantasy
elements.
was.
That's all it is.
Like-
It's different gameplay elements, but the story wise, it's like that's. the
Which
story
is
isn't
exactly
really
why
really
they
good.
got fucking
Mhm.
this team to make this game, because they know how to make Final Fantasy games.
Exactly.
Like, they were like, oh man, people are saying that FF14 has the best story of any Final Fantasy game. Boom, they got the
Yeah.
fucking writer on this shit. Oh, it has the best fucking music. Oh, they got the fucking composer on this shit. They got
But
Yoshi P.
it's
They were
the
like, all right,
same-
motherfucker.
The same
Like,
team who has been
Yeah, it's
knocking
literally
it
the
out
same
of the
team.
park for the last 12 years.
and I kind of feel bad for them, because the fact that this game is doing as well as it is, those motherfuckers are
They're
they
just
sign
gonna.
their life away.
Yeah. They're just they're cooked.
Like, it's over. Yeah, they're
Nah,
fucking
they're
done.
cooked.
Yeah.
They're fucking cooked. But I mean,
like, I was
this
hella
is-
happy.
This
I
is
saw
what
the
they
3
love,
mil,
though, right?
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
Yep.
oh shit.
Yeah, they're cooked. They're cooked. They're making Final
Like-
Fantasy games for the next 15 years if they can.
Never leaving the basement ever.
Yeah, it's a wrap, bro.
It's a
Like-
wrap. I love Yoshi
I'm
P, man.
okay
He's
with it.
suffering with
is okay,
success, bro.
Yeah.
Chain them niggas up. Get working on 17, brother.
DJ Khaled, bro. God.
'Cause,
Yeah.
you know what's cool about this game though? Like, I don't want to discredit it by saying like it seems like a foundation for shit that they can do later on. Like,
agree.
but I feel like that's kind of negative to say because that means that the game is fleshed out. The game is finished. It feels good, right? It feels
Mhm.
complete. But it feels like they could do so much with the ideas that they put forward in this game.
Yeah, that's
Like,
fine though.
A lot of people were saying like they don't have the, they want the job system and shit like that back, which I
Mhm.
agree. We haven't had a job system since 13. And I feel like that team knows how to do that shit very well. Like it's literally the FF11 and fucking 14 developers. They know how to do jobs and shit. So I feel like the next game that they make is gonna be fucking crazy.
Here's the good thing though, right? Good and bad, so to speak, right? You release a game like this, super successful sales wise. If Square Enix is just like, man, this game is super successful. What are our next projects? They could literally go in one of two directions where they could just say, hey, they could do like a Final Fantasy X-2. Let's work on a direct sequel. Or
I don't think Yoshi P is gonna want to do that.
yeah, or they could do like another game that's in the same universe as this game. You know what I mean? They've already done the world building.
Yeah, but
They
we
don't
want that,
have
though.
to do that. No, I know
They
what I
know
mean,
most-
but
they
like,
know most
but
Final
they
Fantasy
have
players,
they
though.
have
If I may-
options for that. You know, that's the
If
options.
I may, I do think they're working on Kingdom Hearts 4 at the moment.
Yeah, no, they
too.
are.
They're
No,
working on
that
Kingdom
team,
Hearts
that
4,
team isn't
they're
doing.
working on- they're
No,
working
that
on
team
Part-
isn't doing that.
Kingdom
they're
Hearts 4
working
and
on
New Donk
Remake
City.
Part 2. They're also working on Dragon Quest. They have
Mhm.
they have like 5-6 titles in development right now.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
fucking how many people do they have on those teams, bro?
My whole thing is
It's
like,
crazy.
They gotta be
I mean,
paying them extra.
that's what happened. FF14 literally made them fucking. Gotta thank FF14 for everything Square Enix is doing right now. Literally.
But they've grown
crazy that-
exponentially. It's
it dug them out of a hole.
insane, man. It's insane.
It's crazy that Squaresoft was about to go out of business. They made Final Fantasy 1 and it's their biggest title to
Yeah,
date,
that's a
even
fun,
now.
I mean,
interesting trivia fact,
it
right?
almost
It was
happened
called
again, though.
it was called
called
Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy
because it was
the
their
last
final
game.
game. Yeah.
And then it brought it did so well that the company was like, I guess we're still around, boys. FF2.
And then it's like, it happened again in fucking 10 years later when fucking FF14 1.0 dropped and FF13 dropped and fucking 14 was a complete failure. And they literally were like, they almost stopped making games. Like, there's a whole documentary, which I don't know if you haven't seen that shit, even if you don't fuck with FF or you don't play 14 or anything, that documentary is kind of ridiculous.
I think you
forgot
linked it to me, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I need-
documentary is old.
I might have to look back. Yeah.
I'm gonna need a link to that because I'll watch it
Yeah.
when I'm like trying to pass.
Like, it
I'll-
talks
I'll
about
search
how,
the
like,
Discord
Square
for
was
it.
like they were in the fucking
Yeah,
gutter
Square
when they
definitely.
launched that
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. But
But
I don't know. When people say shit like that, like it's one of those things where I haven't even seen any of the complaints since last week, right?
yeah,
People
yeah,
that play, all I'm seeing is people playing the game. I'm seeing like people making compilations about the combat and all this other cool shit.
it was,
And
it was literally like a week one fucking complaint, and then
Yeah, of course.
kind of just it died out, right?
yeah, like it's one of those things I feel like you just get used to. It's been, like I said, I've been playing this series since I was like fucking 7. So it's like every time a game comes out, it's like, yeah, they're gonna compare it to the last one. Yeah, it's not a real FF game. Blah blah blah. It's always gonna be the same shit. Do I like it? Yes. This game is
Yes.
leagues better than 15. It's leagues better than 13, and that's all I care about. Like, so whatever. What makes a real fucking game? And they're the ones that make the game. Square
they
dictates what a
determine it.
real FF is. The
Yeah.
fuck?
I mean,
That's
I'll say
really
this to
one-
probably like close things out for
Yeah.
this. Is just I've played Final Fantasy. I've dabbled. That's the word. I've dabbled in Final Fantasy games. But my first Final Fantasy game from start to completion was 15, right? Since then,
shit.
since then, I've played 7 to completion, 7 remake to completion. Played
Yeah,
14.
you kind of see why 15 is kind of that game where it's like, yeah, you can say, yeah, that was your first Final Fantasy game, but technically it doesn't count.
I could,
Just
yeah,
like
and
FF7 remake was your first Final Fantasy
I
game.
could understand that, but I actually, I still liked 15 for
Oh
what.
no, the
it
game's
was.
great. The game's
Yeah,
great.
I think it's a great game,
Like,
and I think it gets a lot of flack
you
for
detach
no
it
reason
from what it is.
whatsoever. Yeah, I think it's a
I mean, we
fantastic
bring this up
game.
all the time. Remember DMC? That game
Mhm.
was great. It just shouldn't have been called
Yeah.
DMC. Like,
I think 15 was a great game. I had a really good time with it. It actually like hit me at a certain time in my
Yeah,
life
game was
where I
dope.
just delved deep into because it was a game where you needed to do some legwork yourself to go and dig deep into lore and understand things. The Pitios dungeon was the prime example of that. You have to look at that. You could play through that and be like, this shit sucks, because it does suck as a platforming dungeon in a game where platforming is not really the thing. But the lore in that dungeon was fantastic.
the lore in that game overall was cool.
Yeah.
Like
it
they
was-
always get stuff
that's
like
what
that
hooked me.
pretty well. They always do stuff like that. Pretty
Yeah.
well.
And so like I look at this game and I haven't played it yet. 16 looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. Listen, it could run at 30 FPS. It looks beautiful. God of War on PS4 ran at 30 FPS.
I'm gonna be
It was
honest with you.
great.
This shit runs way better than. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard no complaints about it.
I'm not concerned about performance.
Like
It looks beautiful.
if I'm not complaining about it,
Yeah.
like it's not even just because it's an FF game. Like I haven't had any issue where I'm like, oh man, that shit feels like ass.
Yeah.
Like
I would have
you can
liked.
definitely tell when it's struggling, but the combat, which is the most important part,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
clean.
it's always good. Yeah.
Yeah, they
would've
down res it for that,
hmm
which is
would've
smart.
liked-
It's smart.
I would have liked to have the full game in 60, but it is what it is. As long as the combat's smooth and like
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
that's,
You know-
that's as long as when I'm actually pressing the like playing the game, it's
I'm
responsive
literally
and it runs
talking right
smooth.
now, and I'm literally just in the fucking training thing, and just fucking this little fucking monster up just because the combat in this game is godlike.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming
Like,
to
what the
PC.
fuck?
It's coming to PC, and it's gonna be
Oh yeah.
at a. You have the freedom to have that shit run at full 60. I'm sure, but
Yeah.
That shit at fucking
You know?
I'm gonna double.
44, like I did
I'm
DMC
definitely gonna
5.
double dip for the PC version.
Oh
yeah,
man.
it looks fantastic though. Like I'm excited to play it. But
Yeah. Game's great.
I mean, any
you
last
like
thoughts on that?
DMC, you like Final Fantasy, it's an easy buy. Like,
Man, I mean, the thing is, I just feel like it's just always a generational thing, right? It just
Yeah.
feels very similar to like how Resident Evil fans are like 100% divided, right? You got like the old school Resident Evil
1,
people,
2,
right?
3, then everything
1, 2, 3, and then you got the RE4 people who
Yeah.
worship RE4, like it's
God,
you know,
RE4
you
is
got
so
7 and
good.
Village.
I'm one of those
Yeah,
RE4
yeah,
worshippers
yeah.
though. That's my
Nah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
my
I
jam.
feel you, I feel you. I'm classic, and I'm drawing like these kind
I
of
like
same
all of
conclusions
them.
where.
But it's
Yeah,
like,
I like them
yeah.
all.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I have my favorites, right? Like I'm biased
course,
in
yeah,
some of
exactly.
them, but
Yeah.
but at least I'm open enough to have a new experience, see how I feel about it, and then have a talk and move on. Like even if it's not my favorite, then I just won't replay
Yeah,
it.
RE
But
is
if I had a good
it's the
time,
closest I guess
you
I
know?
can get to that. Like there's not an RE
God, people
game
need to
where
be
I'm
more
like,
open-minded.
yeah, that game is garbage.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not it's not a true RE game.
Well, main game, I guess. There's not like a main RE game where I'm like, yeah, that game is trash. Like people will be
Yeah.
like, yeah, man, I hate I hate RE6, I hate RE5. I don't think they're. I mean, I get the negatives, but they're not shit games. Like, there's no FF that I think is bad. It's just they're different every fucking game. Like, come on, man. And RE is another series that's been around for fucking over 2 decades.
Yeah.
How?
Wow.
Like,
and
Wow,
it
that's a
needed
good
to be.
point.
It needed to be different because if it wasn't different, then
yep.
You have to
Yeah,
evolve.
well,
You have
at
to
the-
evolve.
At the end of the day, what people need to realize is that it's a business, right? It's a video game, but it's a business. If they're following the same trend of the game they've been doing forever, and it gets a little stagnant and stale, sales are going to be slow. Because of that, they're going to want to take risk, or they want to change up the formula and change things up to a degree where now we have a new game, and people just have to understand that. Again, it happened with Resident Evil, right? Like Zero basically stopped. Zero was so bad that it was bad critically that it stopped.
It was? Oh damn.
Yeah, it was.
Are Zero?
People shit.
well, yeah.
RE0 wasn't
Okay,
even
no,
that
no.
bad.
Okay,
No.
no. Okay, let me clear this up.
Critically, sure.
So at the time when it came out for the GameCube, RE1 remake and RE0 were considered failures because not enough people bought it on that system. People didn't even know about the game. That's why when they reported those games to PC, that's why Capcom devs were surprised because they were like, "Oh, wow, people really like this game. They want a remake?" Should we make a remake of 2? And that's how that whole conversation even started, because they thought,
it's shit at the end of the day. Because if you think about it, like I'm just drawing parallels. The least favorite FF game is FF13 and FF15, right? 13 did not do well critically when it first came out, but for some reason, years later, people go back to it and are like, wait a minute, this game was actually pretty crazy. This game was godlike. Like, so it's like people don't know what the fuck. People don't know what the fuck they want until they have something and they're like, oh wait, this is actually not that bad. And then for some reason, I don't know what it is, bro. Like, what's up with humans where we have something in the moment when it's new, right? And some people hate it, but then like 2 years later, they're like, oh man, that game was actually fucking godlike. Like, what is that? I don't understand. Like it's like you have to be on
revisionist history, man.
You have to be on a train. Like, people have to be on some type of train, right? You got to be on the yeah, man, I love it train, or you got to be, or you just got to hate like everybody else.
No. I'll tell you what it is. It's the followers' mentality.
Yeah, exactly. That shit is retarded.
People do not want to go against the grain of shit. If I like something or whatever, and then like, you know, and then like someone in the group is gonna be kind of hesitant to say something or whatever, then like that's how normal society kind of does things, and it's kind of like aggravating. It's like, bro, guys, you can have different opinions. That's why I like this group so much.
If you're a fan of a series, and I'm gonna keep saying this shit, you're not a fan of a series if you played one fucking game. 2, if you're a fan of a series, you'll embrace the change and appreciate the fucking new shit. Like, that's all I'll say. Like, you don't have to like it, but like, I mean,
be open-minded to it, right? Like that's ultimately that's what it is, right?
And the thing is, right? I can appreciate this because I played Final Fantasy. I grew up with Devil May Cry. Man, that is my top 3 favorite series of all fucking time. So obviously, I'm gonna fucking eat this shit up, right? But I guess there's some people out there. Here's one thing that I thought about earlier, right? So remember, I don't know how many of y'all played FF as kids and fucking saw what was the name of the fucking movie? What was the name of the FF7 movie? The CG movie?
Spirits Awaken?
Advent Children. Hell no. What the fuck?
Advent Children. No, we don't talk about.
No, Spirits Awaken. Spirits Awaken, some shit like that, right?
We do not talk about that ever.
Hold on. You're talking about the FF Spirits, like.
No, we're talking about Advent
Oh, you're talking
Children.
about Advent Children? Oh no, I thought you were talking about the.
He said Spirits Within.
Spirits Within. Yes, that's what it was, right?
Fuck, I forgot that even
the full theatrical release. I saw that shit.
Technically, it was a movie. Technically, it was a movie.
Listen,
no wonder he didn't play FF until 15 because he saw that goddamn movie.
No. That had no bearing. I knew Hollywood was full of shit with video games.
No, I saw it in theaters too. I saw it in theaters too. I got duped.
They got us. They got our money.
But yeah, I remember as
that's
a kid,
gonna be like $6. I'm never getting back.
I remember as a kid, I watched Advent Children, and I was like, damn, bro, I can't wait for Final Fantasy games to look like this and play like this, right?
And now they do.
And I'm like, I know I wasn't the only kid saying that shit because I had friends that was saying shit like that, right? Like, damn, bro, could you imagine if this shit looked like this? And now we got, and to be fair, a turn-based game ain't gonna look like that. Like, I love my turn-based shit. I love turn-based RPGs, but a turn-based game ain't gonna look like that.
The only way it'll look like that, it's gonna be super jank with stutters everywhere because it has to, you know what I mean? Like, it has to.
Why do you think FF7? Why do you think they remade their fucking poster child game? Why do you think they remade that game and didn't make it turn-based?
Yes.
Because they know that shit. Like,
but people loved the FF7 remake combat system. No, like that was not opposed.
The same conversation happened when that game came out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were complaining because they were like, "Oh, it's too much like Kingdom Hearts. Like, I want Final Fantasy."
It's better than Kingdom Hearts.
But ironic. Like,
listen, I feel like these are the minority of the fan base, and they just need to shut the fuck up. Ultimately. Sorry to be blunt or frank. That's ultimately what it is, right?
The vocal minority.
Vocal minority.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
Well, and then here's the proof, right? Like, if they weren't the minority, there wouldn't be 3 million copies of the game.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
exactly.
like, damn. I'm like, I was like, when I see that shit, I'm like, I'm just gonna be one of the happy 3 million motherfuckers that's enjoying the game right now. You guys can go suck a dick.
That made me so happy because I haven't even bought my copy yet, and I'm just gonna add to it because I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna, I like. To me, I just haven't bought it because I'm not playing it yet. It's not a question
there are some
of
things in this game. You know, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna hit on. I'm gonna like. I love the game, but I'm gonna give it some shit because there are some aspects that they kind of conceded on, and you can tell. Like, fucking when they first showed the game, people were complaining. yo, man, why I don't want to just play a single character action game, bro. I want to have my party members. I want to have this. I want to have that. So obviously they went ahead and tacked on like party members and all this random shit. And it's like, it's fine. It works. But you could tell it's tacked on because of that. Like, because people complained about it. And I'm like, I would have been perfectly fine if it was just fucking the main character just beating ass. That shit would have been fire. But to be fair, we got one of the best party members in the Final Fantasy game, in my opinion. So I'm not gonna be mad. But
Sidolphus is my goat.
nah, fuck that. My nigga Torgo.
Chill.
I have a really important question though before we move on.
Literally a dog. Like,
Literally a dog.
I have a super important question before we move on.
Hmm?
Is it worth it to buy the big dog plushie right now?
I'm about to buy it, to be honest.
That price is kind of crazy though.
I don't
It was
know,
like,
yeah,
what was it, like
like, I saw
160 or something like that?
Yeah,
That's just-
I saw it. That shit is big as fuck though.
that's just big
Like-
though. Yeah, you're right.
Like, I bought the
I
mean, it better be
I bought
big.
the fat cat plushie when it came out. When that shit came out, that shit was worth it.
Yeah.
Like,
How much is Torgal, the plush?
That's
I think
just
it's
a
like
lot.
180.
80?
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
No, 180.
180 for the big one.
What? Oh, never mind. Holy shit.
For the small one, it's like 75 or something like that.
Oh, I'll
right?
get the small one then.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
a
not
big
getting
motherfucker.
But the small one's a pup, which is
Good.
kind
I
of
want
godlike.
pup
That's
Torgal.
crazy.
I will add one more thing before we move on to something else.
Yes.
If- Shout outs to all my FF14 enjoyers because we're eating with this fucking game, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, there's
I mean,
hella
this game is
FF14
OD
references.
if you
Final
play if
Fantasy
you're an
fans just
FF14
fucking
player.
eating, bro. This shit looks.
Like-
I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the queue up for like missions and side missions. It looks like FF14. This shit, you look.
If you
I'm-
played FF14, you're gonna hear the soundtrack and you're gonna be like, "Wait,
You're
a
gonna
minute.
hear the main battle
Oh.
theme. Actually, no, I can't say that because most FF14 players didn't do Eureka. But like, but still, oh man,
The first icon battle, and Despair knows what I'm talking about. When that song kicked in, I was like, "No way!"
it's the main battle theme. Just they remix
Yeah.
it, but yeah, a lot of the shit in this game is you can tell. Like Yoshi P put his stamp on this fucking game, and you can tell it's his game.
I don't understand how if you're a true fan of the series and you look at new iterations and the research and the little Easter eggs and the hints and this and that they put into the game and be like, oh, how could you have the audacity to say
Nigga, they opened
this
the
is
game.
not
They opened
a
the demo.
true Final
Okay,
Fantasy
it's
game?
not a
I
spoiler.
fucking
There's a fucking demo out.
no, yeah, go ahead.
Actually, it's on the screen it's on the motherfucking screen that you're watching right now. Oh wait, there's hella spoilers in this shit. What the fuck is this? What are you watching right
This
now?
is the Digital
this
Foundry
Digital Foundry shit?
tech review, yeah.
Bro, they opened the goddamn demo with the fucking Marlboro, and that's my favorite Final Fantasy monster of all time. So that's all I'm gonna say. Like,
Yeah,
that's all I
like-
needed. I don't give a fuck. Like,
Ultimately,
I
okay.
love those
Final point before we move on is just like if you're a true fan, you
I
wouldn't
told
be
you, I could talk
feeding
about
into
this shit
any
forever.
of this bullshit about like this not being a true Final Fantasy game.
you would have bought the game if you were a true
it's a
fan. You would
crock
have
of
bought
shit.
You'd be playing the game right now. if
Yep.
you were actually
Yeah,
playing the
And
fucking-
I'm
Nah,
like
the
me.
only
Over
reason
here
I'm
with
not
my
playing it
takeout.
because I'm gonna
You might
stream
be-
it.
like,
Well,
goddamn.
I'm holding the L to the PC release right now.
That's true. That's true. Follow doesn't
shit.
Follow doesn't have a PS5. He has an excuse.
Oh,
That's not
That being said, oof.
That's why I got my PS5.
Go pull
day
somebody's
one.
pants down and get a PS5.
I mean,
Got
this
it.
Wow.
let me get you.
Mm.
PS5, bro.
I have my pants down right now.
Oh shit! He said his
Alright.
pants down. He said his pants
Next
down
topic.
right now.
My pants been down since this game came out.
That's the sound.
Ass
That's
cheeks
the sound Despair
hop out
makes when he
the
pulls his
window.
pants down.
oh shit!
My
My
pants
man
been down
said
since
bustin'
fucking
and
this
roll
game
bustin'.
dropped, bro.
So
Ass cheeks glistening, hop out the window.
this week we got reports that the Switch.
That's all y'all needed me for. FF topic's over. I'm out of here. Back to my game.
Are you
Nah, I'm
out?
just
You
joking.
out?
I'm
Yeah,
joking.
that's
Hell no,
okay.
I'm not out.
All right. So the reports are that the Switch 2 is going to be at the performance level of PS4 / X Bone.
Weird that this topic's more interesting to me than the FF discourse because
That's
Fuck that
kind of
motherfucker.
yeah. I mean, but I feel like we've talked about this already because we talked
We-
about it
we
with the
talked
ROG
about
Ally.
this.
With the ROG
We
Ally, I said like,
did.
listen. I was just like, listen. If you're expecting enhanced performance than what we already have, you're in the wrong direction.
Isn't
It's
the
going
Steam
to
Deck
be
like
Mhm.
parallel. Isn't the Steam Deck like pretty
The
much.
Steam Deck, yeah,
like,
the Steam Deck is already
PS4.
PS4, Xbox One, right?
So
Like
if you think about it, that's kind of interesting that the Switch can compete with the Steam Deck. If the new Switch can compete with the Steam Deck, that'd be pretty cool.
that would be
I-
cool, but I feel like they're behind the curve.
It doesn't.
Well,
behind,
they're always going to
bruh.
be behind. Well, they're always
Behind
going to be
what?
behind.
But-
Nintendo
but-
is the curve.
Nintendo, yeah,
What the hell?
Nintendo's always like a generation behind.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
let me
but what curve are we
explain.
talking
Let me
about, though?
let me explain
Like-
my point. Let me explain my point. They're behind the curve technology wise, but at the same time, when it comes to original IPs, it doesn't really fucking matter because their performance.
I'm not
the
even
way-
talking about that.
Yeah,
Like the Steam Deck just dropped last year. We didn't have any handhelds on par or better than the Switch up until the Steam Deck came out. So, and the Steam Deck just came out last year.
no, we had some PC handhelds,
No, we had some
but they
jank
were
bullshit.
outrageously
We had
priced.
some jank
To be
bullshit.
honest,
Like those, that does not count.
the
like-
Ioneos, Ioneos been out
Bruh.
since for a while
Was anybody
now.
talking about that when it came out? Was anybody buying it?
Yes,
No.
niche
If I didn't-
niche communities, not major communities, but you know, niche.
Niche means nobody bought it, basically. If it's niche, nobody bought it. Like,
So,
when
so
the
my
Steam Deck
thoughts.
came out, people was talking about that shit. Everybody was like, "Yeah, man, Steam Deck this, Steam Deck that." People I never even heard talking about fucking PC shit. I know people that don't even have a fucking gaming PC, but they have a Steam Deck though.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
So
'Cause you could take it anywhere if you.
Yeah.
Because it was a substitute. It was also a substitute. You could not have a PC and buy a Steam Deck, and all of a sudden you have a PC.
but that's like not why they bought it. They bought it because it's like, oh man, like I can play all these games on the go, and it's better than the Switch. Or
You know, to be
whatever.
honest, that's the same reason I bought the Switch initially. Because
Yeah.
the Switch started to have indie games that PC had that PS4 and Xbox didn't have.
yeah. So it's like my thing is like to say Nintendo, like if they were to come out with a new Switch, right, and it's
Yeah.
on par with like the Steam Deck, that's pretty good in my opinion, because this market is still like this market was owned by Nintendo for the like it's we can say it had competition with like the PSP and all other shit, but the handheld market is dominated by Nintendo. No one else is doing the
Mhm.
shit. No one else is probably ever
Easily.
gonna do it as well. Like so
The ROG
if
Ally.
it comes out,
Yeah,
Yeah, but
go ahead,
who's buying
Despair. No, go ahead, finish. You are, but go ahead.
I'm buying it because but I'm part of
Sorry,
bro, I'm a
sorry.
small minority of people buying that shit. Like if I were to go out
No.
and buy the fucking new Apple VR shit, how many people are actually buying that?
Oh my god,
Not
true.
many. So
Not a release. I'm not buying
yeah,
it.
exactly.
What
so,
I was going to say,
I was-
and like after this, I'll stop.
Mhm.
The ROG Ally is a higher perform. It performs better than the Steam Deck, but
Mhm.
it's marginal, right? Because then it comes down to battery life and all
Mhm,
of
yeah,
these
exactly.
other nuances, right? But if you're fucking plugged in, battery life doesn't fucking matter to you because you're plugged in, right? So I hate when they say, "Hey, it's battery." It depends on the audience, right? But
yeah,
like,
that hits me because I personally don't
Mhm.
really care about bringing I rarely bring my Switch with me handheld mode when I go out
Yeah.
places.
true,
like,
100%.
The most
I agree.
but I will tell you, I lay down like a motherfucker on that Switch every night though. Like, so you best believe I'm gonna have my shit plugged in. So that shit don't affect me. That Asus ROG, that complaint doesn't affect me. I'm gonna have my shit plugged in anyway.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I'm gonna lay down. Like that shit. I love the Switch for that. Just being able to lay down and fucking just play shit. Like, but I rarely take it anywhere. I'm too scared to take my Switch anywhere, bro. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So when they bring up the battery life as a thing, it's just like, you know, I'm most of the time I'm playing it. If I'm disconnecting it from a hardwire battery like connection or charger, I'm playing it for like only like an hour or two anyway. So like that doesn't really, that's a non-factor. It's more about the performance. And if you're looking at the performance, it's for the ROG Ally. Yes, it performs better than Steam Deck. It's marginal, right? We're not gonna have these great leaps and bounds, right? Like you're not like if you get a Steam Deck versus a ROG Ally, it's not like you're getting a PS4 to a PS5. That's not the leap. It's more so it's more so related to like PC GPUs, right? Where you're just getting like you could run games at 1080p or 1440p, so to speak, because Steam Decks are running games at 720p, and then ROG Ally can run
Well,
it at 1080p, right? Like
That's always gonna be the case because consoles set the standard. Not,
Oh, yeah, for
like,
sure.
Not the hardware and not the GPUs and shit. It's the consoles that set the standard. Like that's why we call like every console. That's why we refer to shit as like the next generation is always related to how like when the new consoles come out,
yeah.
not when the new GPUs come out, because those shits come out like every fucking year.
And I think it's like it's super interesting because it's always an option of who is the target audience for this handheld. The thing about Nintendo is that they've done a great job of making it a very broad audience, and it just works. It's reliable. That's what Nintendo can count on. They are reliable. It will work, right?
They're nice and cozy. They've been that forever.
Exactly. Always. You can
I
only
mean,
just if
you
it
can-
has a Nintendo brand, if they that's the thing, that the quality since back in the day, remember when they put that quality stamp?
Seal of quality.
Yeah, seal of
Yep.
approval.
Yep, the little gold sticker. Yeah.
That
I mean,
is-
you
that
can
is
even
the Nintendo
argue
way.
that Nintendo is the handheld market.
It is.
Like,
I mean,
Absolutely.
It literally is.
What's their competition? The fucking the Vita?
Yeah,
But
right.
you-
Wow, I love the Vita though.
Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
And the
No,
PSP.
it's got like, but the both are got like, but I will say this, I wonder if, like, had the Steam Deck not release, do you want like
That's a good fucking. I know where you're going.
That's a great
like because
Yeah.
I know they were gonna release a Switch 2, but were they gonna release a Switch 2 as powerful as the PlayStation 4 had it not been for the Steam Deck?
I
I
don't
think so.
know, bro.
I think so. No, I do think so. I do think so.
I don't think so.
I have a question to
Mm-hmm.
your question, Fala. So that's interesting, right? You thinking would they have made a second console as powerful as allegedly the
Stargate?
iPhone
Oh, my bad,
and the
my bad,
PS4, right?
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, what if it's not even just about the quality of games being stronger, but the fact that Xbox and PS1 had built-in streaming capabilities, and maybe Nintendo is looking to have like a built-in streaming kind of like software with the Switch 2.
I don't know,
Take advantage
bro.
of that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like isn't this in pace though for Nintendo? Like their consoles are usually as powerful as the previous generation.
Previous
right?
gen, yeah. Mhm.
So I guess this kind of falls in line with that.
Yeah,
But the only
that's-
issue this time around though is that there's literally no competition outside of like the Steam Deck and whatever else, right?
But even if you look at
right
that though,
before the Switch dropped,
Yeah.
Sony, the Vita was literally on its deathbed, right?
Mhm.
And the 3DS obviously fucking destroyed that fucking thing. Rest in peace.
Mhm.
But they had like no competition, so it's like, would we really hold up the Nintendo console standards too, right? Like, obviously, we want to hold them up to whatever the current gen consoles are, right? But
Mhm.
have we ever been able to really do that since like the fucking GameCube? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so
Like,
because like
the Wii
like
was
what
ass.
are the
The
options?
Wii U was
though?
ass. The Switch is ass. But like, I don't know.
The GameCube was the last time where they were trying to further technology. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was and then when the GameCube failed, well, technically, right, in that console war.
I wouldn't
they
even
was
say it
wondering, like,
failed though. Like
Nah,
the GameCube was pretty successful.
they considered it a failure, especially after the
Yeah.
fucking Wii came out right after.
Their view.
Well,
their
the
view.
Wii
Yeah.
was an anomaly.
They considered
That was
it.
an outlier. That
Yeah,
shit
but
sold
that
like
happens. But for
hotcakes
some
because
reason,
of the
Nintendo is like the
technology.
king of that. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
every other console is like their thing, even though the N64 didn't do that well either, to be honest.
Oh no, I was getting its ass kicked by Sony. I think
Yeah,
Yeah.
PlayStation.
I saw something recently about that where PlayStation sold like 8 times the amount as
yeah, that's some
N64.
shit, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, like the N64 was a failure, but I still consider it an attempt for Nintendo to further the technology. It's just the technology were furthered two different ways. Sony went one way,
Yeah.
and Nintendo went the other way, and we all went with Sony.
Well,
on
yeah.
that generation.
With Sony, it went to CDs, which they had a falling out with Philips, and there's a
was
whole
a Dreamcast
documentary
motherfucker,
about
sorry.
that, right? Yeah, no, I love Dreamcast too. But when it comes down to it, also, N64 still ran on cartridges, so it was ancient technology, but Nintendo still had advancements with the expansion pack and all of that. Like they were still super fucking clever about the N64, right? Like there's still certain
They were
elements
also
about it.
clever when, because that was the era of gaming where we were still figuring out 3D,
Yeah,
fucking a whole bunch of other
and
things. So
Super Mario 64 was the
that game literally is why we
preliminary
have
3D
some of these
game.
games
Yeah,
nowadays.
Yeah.
It's true.
So
That's
it's
a
like Nintendo
trendsetter.
could always make a failure console, but for some reason
their
we're
games
never
always
gonna get rid of them.
fuck.
Like who else is doing what they do? Like that's why I'm just
No
like
one.
that's why I'm like, man, they can come out with a fucking. I'm actually, you know what's
They-
crazy? I'm
Mhm.
actually surprised to hear that it's gonna be as powerful as whatever the fuck, because that means it's gonna be more
Yeah.
powerful than the current Switch, and I honestly didn't think it would be much better than this, than the current
That's
Switch.
what we were
That-
talking about.
like,
We talked
That's
about
why.
that
That's
before.
why I was asking. That's why I was asking
Yeah.
about that question.
I
If
really
the
don't
Steam
think
Deck
it would have
really.
been that much better than this shit. Like, I'm
I
sorry,
really
like,
don't think so either. I
Like-
think it would have been a little bit better than the Switch,
Mhm.
you know, but like not like I really didn't think so. But I think the pressure from all these things, because it's not just Steam Deck, even though Steam Deck's the obvious competitor, it's like all these other things are trying to get into the market right now. So Nintendo is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, there
personally,
might
I
be
wonder if they're
slight,
feeling pressure.
there might be
I don't
slight
really think they're
pressure.
trying to compete. I mean, obviously, yeah, it's
I agree.
handhelds, right? But I don't even think that this is a market that Nintendo even cares about losing, because they won't. Like when the next Switch comes out, everybody's gonna buy the shit, right? There's still people that, even though the Steam Deck did take off, a lot of people bought it. It did way better than I thought it was gonna do, like
Yeah.
commercially, but that's not gonna matter in the face of a new Nintendo console, bro. It's not gonna matter. So it's like this not competition.
I
Like
agree.
Steam Deck is like Steam Deck is what's a good example? Fuck. Well, this is a good example
Competition's
anymore.
not the right word, but you
hard,
know what I
man.
mean,
Think about
guys.
this back
Like
in the day. Let's go 10 years back. Hold on. Remember when the first iPhone dropped and everybody was making and everybody was trying to make touchscreen phones and shit, but they weren't iPhones, they were all shit, right? But the Steam Deck's not shit. But the Steam Deck to me is like the Android to like Nintendo's like fucking Apple shit back in the day. Because nowadays, like I don't even fuck with Apple shit anymore. But because nowadays they're like comparable, right? But back in the day, bro, like you was just a straight up nerd if you was rocking like that's like PC Steam Deck. Well, actually, it literally is PC to console. Like Steam Deck is basically just what, a little mini PC. So if you're a PC nerd like most of us in here, you know what a Steam Deck is, right? A lot of people don't know what a Steam Deck is, even though it's so pretty well. A lot of people don't know what that shit is, bro. Like that big bulky ugly shit. Like don't get me wrong, it's dope, but that motherfucker is ugly.
No, you're right.
Like, so think about a kid looking at that and then looking at a Switch with the colorful Joy-Cons and all that shit, right? Like,
you know, that's a good point. That's a good point, because when I think Steam Deck, I don't think kids. I think adults.
exactly.
No,
exactly.
I think
Yeah,
Steam Deck is an adult console for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Switch
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
kid's console potentially
Presentation is
because it's presentation, but it's also like plug and play. It's excuse my verbium, but it's like idiot proof. You know what I mean? Like it's like you
Hell
could just
yeah,
like
that's me.
Let's go.
yeah, like you know, like it's like you just like plug it in and you just it works, right?
Shit.
But like
Oh.
I guess like one of the major points too was just the fact that having a certain handheld console, right? Like Nintendo has always been great with handheld console
Yeah,
performance.
that's their market. Yeah.
That's their strength. And I think that they did a great job in tailoring their strength to directing their console strength, and they blended it with the Switch. The Switch was an outrageous
the
piece of
DS.
technology when it came out. Yeah. It was just kind of like, hey, here's our new iteration. I was just like, this is crazy revolutionary with what they were doing. Regardless of how it performed, I said, this is just worth it to hop on because of the direction that they're moving. So now, I think it's more of a question of like, hey, how can we move forward with this and have it be a success? What's our baseline? And that's why I think they settled on the performance metrics, where they're just like, listen, if this doesn't perform at least this level right now, at this point in time,
Right now.
That better be what it is. You
Yeah.
know why? Because you know what I was thinking? Some
Yeah.
people were complaining about that shit. And I was like, are you guys like on
What?
coke or something? Because if you think about it, right?
the Steam
Think
Deck
about the
performs
people-
at that level.
No, I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about just think about the PS4, bro.
Yeah.
Just think about the PS4 and think of some of the games we got on PS4. Bro, we had Spider-Man. Bro, hold on. God of War Ragnarok just dropped and that shit was on PS4.
That's what I was saying.
Whatever the frame rate was. What else? Hella shit is on PS4. It's still on PS4.
I mean,
Is
we
it-
had the
is it- is
PS4
it
for
Street Fighter
basically
6 on-
10
is Street Fighter
years.
6 on PS4? It is, right?
Yeah.
Yes, technically. Technically.
Technically.
but You
Like-
shouldn't get it.
Yeah. So
I
it's
mean,
like,
it runs. It just has the highest input delay out of all the versions.
yeah, but if I'm buying Street Fighter 6 on the Switch, I don't care about that. Like anybody buying a fighting game on the Switch, like come on, like, but like that's kind of crazy to think about. Yes, I know the Steam Deck does it, but I mean for like a broader, for Nintendo to make a console that does that is kind of, I'll take it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
we had Devil May Cry 5 on that shit. Bruh, we had FF7 remake on that shit. Come on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, it's like it was more than what I expect, so I obviously will take it. The only thing it's interesting to think about because Nintendo tries to do some fucking gimmick every new console, so I'm wondering what they're gonna do to separate.
I don't.
You think they don't care? You don't think
bro, the Switch.
The Switch was
I
think they nailed it with the Switch.
The Switch kind of hit like on all cylinders, bro.
I think a lot of people are not about.
They said the Wii hit, but the Wii hit off a gimmick.
Yep.
The Switch is, what's funny? The Switch, it's not really a gimmick. It just blended both of what they're already good at, handheld shit.
Exactly.
And that's, you know what I'm saying? Like
the key word for the Switch was versatility.
Yeah, like that wasn't even a gimmick. Like, now that I think about it, people say Nintendo's always gimmicky, but what did they never really had a gimmick until
the DS was just gimmicky. Because
I mean, all right. Let me clarify. Gimmick is probably not the right word, but they always try to innovate in some way with new consoles.
Well, that's,
you know what I'm saying? So for the GameCube, it was the mini CD thing. For the Wii, it was the motion controls. For the Wii U, it was I don't know, the tablet thing.
I don't want to call the mini disc a gimmick because that was they were trying to do something.
Innovating.
Like,
whatever.
Like that was what the anti-piracy shit. They were getting tired of that bullshit. Like,
yeah.
So that made sense. The Wii is a literal gimmick. That's a fucking gimmick. Like,
yeah, the Wii is a
remote,
gimmick. The Wii and the Wii remote.
The Wii U, that's a gimmick.
The Wii.
But like even the Switch, the idea behind the Switch was like, I mean, I know you guys don't think much of the Wii U, but it's basically a portable Wii U. At the time.
Really?
I could take that shit in my bathroom and take a shit. And
yeah,
play
but the
games
Wii U was a
time.
little Fisher Price tablet that streamed whatever that mirrored your console. Like, you're right. Like the Wii U walked so the Switch could run, but still, like, the Switch is literally the handheld is the console basically. Yeah. The Wii U was literally like that tablet was just an accessory.
Yeah, the Wii U was for married adults.
Nobody even used it. I never used that shit. I just used the Pro Controller. I never used the gamepad.
I get it. I hear you. I'm just saying, like,
yeah, that's a gimmick.
I'm just saying that the whole console as a portable is the innovating in itself, even though, they've done it before and blah blah blah. But I'm saying, I'm wondering if they're gonna do anything new for this on top of whatever, or just keep it the same. I mean, they're fine if they're gonna keep it the same, but I don't know.
I think they'll keep it simple, but there was
maybe something with the Joy-Cons or some bullshit like that. I don't know. Like,
there was an interesting thing I noticed actually.
Wait a minute. Now I think about it. There's a lot of shit you could do. Like, you can iterate on the Joy-Cons in a lot of ways. So I hope that they do something with it because that Joy-Con gimmick wore off really quick in the beginning.
The thing is, the Joy-Cons have a lot of tech in it that people don't actually realize. It's the HD rumble.
Okay, so if there was a gimmick for the Switch, it was the Joy-Con shit. That's what the gimmick was.
Yeah, that's what the gimmick was. And the IR, they had the IR sensor that was like never used in anything other than 1-2 Switch.
Yeah, that I feel. You know what I feel like that was for though. That's still them embracing the Wii era.
Yeah,
and the motion controls and all that shit, which they finally said it's over. Thank God. Like,
it's over.
Yeah.
But like, the interesting thing about the performance, though, I realized. Remember that Activision was just like, "Hey, we're dedicating that we'll release the next few Call of Duties on the Switch." Well, then they fucking better have at least PS4 performance because those Call of Duty. I just thought about that.
Ones, because goddamn.
But aside from that,
because they're not good at what's the right word, optimizing. They're not good at optimizing the Call of Duty.
Which is what Weird though. The Call of Duty didn't Black Ops launch on like the Wii U and it was actually pretty good or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. I never played
I will
it.
never buy Call of Duty on a Switch ever in my life. On a
Me
Nintendo
neither.
console in my life. Who the hell am I gonna play with? Some little fucking 8-year-olds? Like, well, I already play with 8-year-olds on fucking Call of Duty.
It's
Anyway.
I mean, it's basically Splatoon, right?
Yeah, anybody like Nintendo has those. That console has its audience, and no one's playing. I'm sure there's people playing Call of Duty if they don't have any other console. But if you're a Call of Duty player, you're playing that shit on something else. Like nobody cares about that shit on. Like you said, there's people on there want to play Splatoon. Like
Splatoon.
I want to play Splatoon on the Switch, not Call of Duty.
Splatoon is
Alright,
not like that. Not for nothing.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts? I think we got it.
Just give me the goddamn console already. I don't
Bro,
care.
all
Just
they're gonna do
play
is
the
they're
same
gonna
games I'm playing now.
Look,
like
they're gonna release the new console. They're gonna release the new Mario Kart, and they're just gonna call it a day, bro.
yeah, it's gonna be instant buy anyway. It doesn't matter what the fuck they launch it with. I'm gonna buy it. It's gonna be Mario. It's gonna be fucking. Buy you. You know what? That just reminded me, right? This Nintendo Direct that they had. Don't get me wrong. I'm hyped for whatever the new Mario game is called. What was it? Wonder? I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with that name, but I'm hyped for that game. But you know, that is a placeholder for fucking whatever the new 3D Mario is. And that made me so. I was like, I'm hyped, but I'm so fucking mad they did that shit. Because I'm like,
I mean, you know the
waiting for the new
3D
console,
Mario.
bullshit,
Yeah,
bro.
they
Like,
absolutely are. Absolutely.
that, and I guarantee Metroid Prime as well. Like Metroid Prime, fucking Mario, and what else? I mean, I think those are two big ones.
Yeah, Prime 4 is definitely going to be on the new Nintendo console.
It fucking better be.
There's no point in
It better
fucking
be on
developing
something,
it for the
period.
Switch.
That shit basically is like an urban legend at this point.
I mean, the Switch's cycle is basically over. So, like, at this point, we might as well assume it'll be on the next console.
Man, I'm so glad I didn't buy a Switch OLED, bro. I would have been so pissed when the new Switch drops.
Yeah, I definitely.
Oh, you were talking about that for
Yeah,
a minute.
I want one. Like, I love OLED screens, but it's like, I'll probably get it if I hack my shit.
I'm not getting got.
Like,
Yeah.
You can't have
I saw that
OLEDs.
shit.
OLEDs, you have to like put in a mod chip or something to mod.
Yeah,
it.
no. I mean,
That
I have my
that's crazy.
original one modded, so I don't really care. I'll just use that as the official Switch. Like, I
Yeah, I
love
have-
like OLED
Yeah,
shit.
I have a hack switch and then a modded switch I use for online.
Man, you know, actually, hold on. Before we switch, you know what's wow. Anyway, before we
Before we
change
switch,
topics,
yes, got him.
Before
Got
we change
him.
topics, fucking I heard. Do y'all remember the rumor that the new Switch is not gonna have an OLED screen? It's just gonna be a regular 1080p fucking screen, bro.
There's
I would
no
be
way.
so sad.
After the OLED, after releasing
Yeah,
the
I would
OLED,
be
there's
so
no
sad.
way.
I hope not.
There's
I
no way
really
that
hope
it's
not,
not the
bro.
base. They got to be smoking something.
I would be so sad.
It depends how much profit they're gonna make or how much they're gonna.
I think
lose.
they
OLED
released.
screens
I think they
aren't bad.
released two versions, an OLED and non-OLED for price reduction. You know what I'm
They
saying?
better. They
I
better
think
do
that's
that because I want my
gonna
OLED
be the
screen, bro.
option. Yeah.
The fuck out of here. Tired of this bullshit. Vita had an OLED screen in 2011.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
With that being said, as far as
Yeah, my fucking head's
that
starting to
goes,
hurt.
my head's starting. So we going with you guys want to talk about the YouTube ad situation?
Yeah, we should just talk about that and let that be the final conversation.
I
feel
wouldn't
like
know. I have
yeah.
ad blocker.
Yeah, there's some shit. You know what's funny? There's no videos about it on YouTube. I literally searched
Yeah,
it.
because
There's
isn't
like
Google-
nothing.
I saw an article about Google like taking down shit that has anything to do with that. They're like fucking I forgot what the word people used was, but I saw like there was a Twitter thread that was like fucking long as shit that somebody was posting like all the specifics about it. And they were saying that Google was like trying to not necessarily silence people talking about it, but they were like taking posts down, taking videos down, doing shit like that. Like that's kind of wild to me.
Yeah,
if
I
that's
believe that. I
true.
couldn't find a fucking single video about it.
I believe it though.
Yeah, that's
I believe it
wild.
100% because of course Google controls like 90% of the information we receive. Of course they're gonna
Yeah.
fucking control
That's
any
crazy,
bad
bro.
shit.
And they're
Because
hating.
well, especially something on that scale where it's gonna cost them
Yeah.
potentially billions of dollars. Damn right they're gonna fucking delete every single evidence that they can.
The
Come
first
across,
thought
you
that
know?
came to my head when I heard about that was they have $1 billion to lose. They have billions of dollars to lose. If anybody has billions of dollars to lose, they do. So I feel like yeah, it might hurt them. Whatever. People acting like people. Somebody fucking said, yo, they might end up shutting down YouTube. What the fuck, bro? Like Like,
Well, I said, well, because my thing is like YouTube has always been like a detriment. You know what I mean? Like, they've always operated YouTube at like, I think the profits that they make don't surpass what they spend on YouTube for like the servers and shit like that. So like,
yeah, they're making
if it's
money
gonna
with
cost them
AdSense.
billions and billions, you know, like, I don't think it's like that far out of an idea that they're like, man, let's just cut this out, bro.
There's no way in fuck they're gonna cut YouTube, and YouTube fucking generates all that fucking AdSense revenue. It's not YouTube. They're not getting revenue from YouTube directly, but Google AdSense is fucking wild. Like, I don't know, man. For them to fucking say that they're gonna shut down YouTube when YouTube has way more reach than, like, I don't know.
Anything.
YouTube does more for Google than I think the profits would tell you, right?
Mhm.
Like, just the information they're able to like put out, like the shit, the reach that they're able to have with something like YouTube, like globally, is I'd take a loss to have YouTube on my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I get it, but
It's
you
not
know,
like Amazon owning Twitch for like literally no reason. Like,
yeah, but the thing is,
Like-
it's just like, look, usually things don't change, but when a lot of money is in effect, like billions of dollars, you know, them suits are fucking.
I do see. There's probably gonna be some
You
drastic
know what I
changes
mean?
to the way things.
Yeah,
we know
you know what I
things,
mean?
but-
Yeah.
And to be honest, it might just blow over. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking Google, bro. Like, I don't know. It's not like it's fucking. We're not talking about video game companies anymore. It's Google. These motherfuckers can take $1 billion hit.
Google way.
Like, you know how we talk about Microsoft and Sony and how like Microsoft be buying these companies, but Sony be like, man, you don't get to do that. Yeah, because y'all don't got enough money. Like, y'all don't got Microsoft money, bro. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna act like I know enough about the topic to go that deep into it, but on the surface though, I really don't feel like it's gonna be that detrimental to, because people were saying it's gonna affect like creators, stuff like that. I don't think so. What's the worst that could happen? Like, they're not gonna completely destroy. There's billions of fucking. Nah, there's no way in fuck. Like, they might what? They might
Well-
give less money to people. They might like, yeah, what? They're gonna change the fucking the payouts or whatever.
All right.
Like, people gonna get paid less. Like,
So,
I don't, whatever.
worst case scenario, it's worse than the apocalypse, right? And how bad was that?
I don't know, bro. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
especially
just
for
don't see
like
it.
creators and shit out there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
for the
But that
on
blew
the
over.
creators side,
Like,
it blew over, but
It
no.
blew over.
It blew over. That shit blew over.
it was rough for them.
It was for a time, but
Mm.
things happened and everything bounced back and it's fine. I don't want to say it's fine now, but we have a new normal, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
same thing could happen.
Yeah, I think the crux of the issue was that YouTube is essentially just getting fucking sued, or
That's
they're just essentially getting
problem.
sued because
Yeah.
they're the agreement that they had with ad providers was it did not incorporate that ads would get skipped, right? So that's
Mhm.
that's the big problem. So they're gonna either refund billions of dollars, or I think the negative connotation, and I don't know if this is negative on providers or just negative on YouTube as a whole. You're just gonna have a lot more unskippable ads, which that's already
Which-
a fucking problem, you know.
it. But think about it on the grand scale, right?
Mhm.
We complain about ads. Everyone hates ads. We all fucking hate ads. You know what else I hated back in the day? Commercials, right?
Yeah.
But we lived with it. Like, so it's like, I feel like if we get more fucking ads, whatever the fuck, bro. Like, it's YouTube. If anything, that's gonna make them push YouTube Premium more.
Of course, and
Like,
they raised
if
the price
anything,
on it
it's a
already. That's the
fucking setup.
problem.
Like, it's all a setup to make everybody
Mhm.
fucking, to force everybody on the fucking premium. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know, bro. I'm just looking at it like it's a $1 billion company. They're not giving me no money. Fuck them. They lose billions of dollars. It's like a dick. I'll go some. We'll all go somewhere else to fucking watch our shit.
I mean,
Fuck YouTube.
but what are the alternatives to YouTube anyway?
Trash at the
Rumble.
moment. Very trash. Ain't nobody
Rumble.
going on no goddamn Rumble, that's for sure. Like,
Yeah.
Niggas a
Trollovo.
hater.
I'm good.
Trollovo.
Trollovo, I'm good on that too.
Trollovo.
Trollovo.
I'm
I
good.
hate you guys so
I'm
much.
straight, bro.
You-
YouTube's
said
been around for
Trollovo.
too long, bro.
Nah,
Like,
YouTube.
they're-
YouTube's the goat. No one's
Yeah.
dethroning YouTube. Let's be real.
They're just gonna lose a bunch of money out of this because of something that they fucked up on. But I don't expect it to not have any kind of
But
backlash
the
on
thing is,
creators
right?
as well.
The people, the companies that are providing the ads though, right? Like, they're gonna have to weigh how much money they're making off of, like, I mean, actually, now that I think about it, it doesn't matter because they could just sue YouTube regardless. Like, they have a reason to sue YouTube. But are they gonna do that? Like, is that?
Sure, why
I don't
not?
know. Like, that's. I don't know, bro. Like, if I was them, I would look at how much money I'm making anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That would determine whether it's really worth it to even sue fucking YouTube in the first place.
It kind of
The only
becomes
thing
a
is they
class
have an
action
actual
suit,
reason.
though.
Yeah, exactly. They have an actual fucking legitimate
Yeah.
reason to do it.
It kind
So,
of becomes a
I
class
guess,
action suit
yeah.
in the opposite direction, where it's the major corporations that are just like, "Hey,
exactly.
YouTube, you've
Yeah.
been fucking screwing
Like,
us."
damn, you've been fucking us.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna fuck you.
Ultimately, the biggest thing that's going to come out of it is not a payment here or there. It's going to be a policy change.
Yeah,
And that's what's
absolutely.
going to fuck creators eventually because of whatever. Because whatever policy YouTube decides to run with, creators got to eat that no matter what. Like, you're holding that. If they make a major policy that's system wide, if you're a creator, you're sucking dick. Sorry, but like that, you're
Yeah,
getting
but-
on your knees.
Content creator, but as a creator, you're literally already sucking dick. Like,
Anyways,
True,
from the get-go,
true.
from moment
yeah,
one.
you have to suck dick. That's literally.
Yeah, but now you're
what
sucking
you
a
have to do.
bigger BBC.
Like,
Oh, that's my shit right there. Oh,
like you gotta think about it, right? It's such a like. If content creation the way it is now is still around in 30, 40 years, right? Then I'll
be
believe that
disappointed.
it's I mean,
Sorry.
true, but I'm just saying, like, if you think about how people make money off content creation, shit like that, it's kind of like it's kind of like an anomaly that came out of nowhere if you think about it, right?
Mhm.
Like, it seems like something that shouldn't really exist, right? So that's why I said we're already sucking dick. If you're trying to make a career out of content creation and being on YouTube and shit like that, you're already sucking dick because, first of all, you're lucky as fuck that this shit even exists the way it does right now. Like, YouTube could have YouTube could have just hosted videos or whatever and never paid anybody for doing that shit. Ever. Like, we could have just been watching fucking cable like we was in the old days and all other random shit. We didn't have to have, like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. I feel like people, when I look at content creation and careers off of that shit, I look at it as a fucking privilege anyway. So I don't even care. Like, if they're gonna shove policies down my throat, then whatever. Like, we know what we signed up for. The company's in control at the end of the day, and not us. They could shut down everybody if they wanted to. Like,
Little
so-
did you know, in your contract you had the terms "throat goat" at the bottom of the signing line. But
that,
listen, this is a candid podcast. We talk about whatever we want.
I
We
could talk
do what
about
we
dicks
do.
all day.
We talk about dicks all day. We could
I
talk
could
about
talk about dicks all day.
we could talk about taking 2 honey packets because the pussy's so stank.
Yo,
We're hetero,
200
straight heterosexual males.
Listen,
Damn.
it is what it is. But anybody got some
Look, after
final
some of the
thoughts
shit
before we
I've heard on
close?
the Joe
that?
Rogan podcast, our shit is tame.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. I agree.
No, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I think it is interesting to just keep track of this story, see how it develops,
Yeah, I
one
agree.
way or the other.
Absolutely.
Because who
Especially 'cause
knows,
we're all in
man?
that
Like,
space anyway.
yeah, be important for us and be important, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever affects YouTube's gonna affect Twitch.
Hell yeah.
You know, it's very,
So-
it's so weird because it's like Twitch is like this fucking ugly duckling right now, bro. Twitch just
Yeah.
exists just to get shit on now. That's so funny to me.
Twitch is
Like,
just a
I
piece
mean,
of shit.
They just need a new.
To be
they
fair-
need a new CEO straight up.
To be fair, they don't help themselves.
They don't.
It's not
They
like
don't.
They definitely do not.
I agree with that
Amazon don't
100%.
give a fuck about them motherfuckers either. So it's like, what the hell?
Amazon's just like, hey guys, you making money or
What the hell
not?
do they even buy Twitch for?
To make money.
tax write-off.
Yeah.
Bezos.
True.
Bezos
Tax
bucks.
write-off.
Yeah, Bezos bucks.
Damn, Bezos bucks are stronger than Bison bucks in the stock market. Let's go.
I mean, it actually is.
It
Like,
actually
I'm not
Bezos
even
are-
kidding.
Bezos bucks are basically just Bison bucks.
I mean, the Amazon gift cards is basically
Bezos
Yeah.
bucks are essentially IRL money, bro. They're
guys
they're
fucked
1-to-1
up.
with the dollar.
I invested in Usher bucks.
What the
Usher
fuck is our cast about anymore, bro? I don't even know.
I
I,
don't know.
I love
Usher
just
bucks.
talking about
Usher
bullshit
bucks,
with,
bro.
with
Yo,
you
shut
guys though.
up, dog.
There would never be a better group of people to talk about bullshit.
Usher
That
bucks.
being
All
said,
right.
I think this is gonna bring this episode of Freaks and Peaks to an end. Despair, I know you got more to talk about, and we will talk about more in the
shit!
in the
Always have something to talk
the
about.
full stream. So we'll continue with the stream, but this is gonna put an end to the YouTube episode of Freaks and Peaks. So if you guys want to watch the real thing, tune into the live stream. Link in the description. Sub to the channel. Do all the thing before we rebrand and all that. But
Oh,
Why am I
Thanks
seeing
for
apes and
hanging out.
Sasquatches on the stream? What the hell?
I have no idea. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. Have a great night. Check y'all next time. Earlier.
Oh